So, sir, firstly to start off with, on Friday we had this couple of channel checks which indicated that in the southern and the eastern regions, companies were trying to do a price hike of around 15 to 20 rupees. Now we all know that the industry has not been able to do a price hike for 2024 so far. So, do you expect that this kind of a price hike, if at all it goes ahead, will be positively absorbed by the industry?
So, see, we are at the fag end of the monsoon season, and cement companies will try to recoup some of the losses that they've seen. Unfortunately, there's a lot of competition among the biggies like Ultratech and Adani, etc., for the market share. So, price hikes have not been sustaining that much. But having said that, Southern India was going through, a lot more losses, and maybe they might want to come back to some respectability in terms of margin. So I'm not sure prices will stick in the first round. They'll have to do multiple hikes for some increases to happen sustainably.
Now, last year also we know that post monsoon or during September, cement companies had taken a large price hike. That time the price hikes were in the range of around 40 to 50 rupees. But however, that did not sustain and they had to cut prices post that. And again, the prices recently that we have seen were at a 3 or 4 year low. So how confident are you that even this time, if they take a price hike, it will sustain in the market and it might not, cement companies might not have to cut prices just to boost the demand or gain market share?
So, see, demand is largely inelastic because, whatever projects are going on and they need cement, there's hardly any substitute. So, demand really doesn't really come into picture that much. It's more about discipline. And at the moment, as we discussed, that, given the market share fight that we are seeing, chances of cement price hikes sticking are slightly low at the moment. But when prices go too low, they'll bounce back to a certain level, but they'll never go to the levels where companies can make all-time high margins. So that is unlikely. Some increases can happen at the bottom, but too much increase from current levels is not expected. More so when you have companies looking to acquire smaller and weaker players. So it is best for them that prices remain slightly weak, and companies which they're trying to acquire, are a little bit depressed.
Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Arora. This is Cheryl also joining the conversation. And since we were talking about the price hikes, according to you or your analysis, if you have made any, how much price hikes or by how much would the companies need to hike their prices in order to recoup the losses that they're incurring?
So, meaning ideally speaking, consensus was expecting that large companies like Ultratech and Ambuja, they should be doing around 1,200 to 1,300 rupees per ton EBITDA margin. Last quarter, they have done less than 1,000 rupees. So, there's an expectation of 300 to 400 rupees per ton price hike at least. That should happen. But, given the way industry is right now, I think these companies, if they're able to manage 900 to 1,000 rupees per ton EBITDA margin, that would be good enough.
Mr. Arora, how can I not ask you about the consolidation that's happening in the entire cement space with the fact that you have the big players going in, acquiring the smaller players right now, and also now you have a new entrant who will be listed as JSW Cement. What's your take about the cement sector, the consolidation, the competition going ahead?
So consolidation is definitely going to continue. At the moment, we have got two clear leaders, and then we have second-run companies like Shri Dalmia, and now probably JSW is entering that ring. But I think there's enough space for everyone to grow. But the top leaders are growing much faster, and they are also very opportunistic in their acquisitions. So they're not just growing organically. Inorganically, they are trying to gain market share. And I don't think that trend will change much. We should expect some more consolidation by these two players.
Moving on to the news that had come in last week on the mining sector. As per your understanding, now we had some time gone through over the Supreme Court judgment that had come in. Also, companies have come out with their announcement. As per your understanding now, which are the companies that get worst impacted because of this announcement?
So, while some of the companies have really come out and said that there would be some losses, Tata Steel was the first one which came out along with the results last year in the last quarter. There are some estimates for sale also floating in the market, but others haven't really quantified as much. But overall, there's 1.5 lakh crore of number for the whole industry, which is there. So I'm hoping that individual companies will come out with their respective damages shortly, but we are not very sure beyond SAIL and Tata Steel at the moment.
Do you expect the companies to file a revised petition on the same?
See, this was a nine-bench, Supreme Court bench. So I don't think there's too much of scope left for appeal. What they could be hoping is that, government who was not really too much in favor, the central government, can bring in some kind of, legislation change. But it will also require, support of all the states to do this. And given the way that the central government is not in majority in Rajya Sabha, and you have to take all these states assemblies also have to ratify, I don't think anything much is going to happen on this. Companies will have to pay up until and unless states themselves relinquish, which looks unlikely at the moment.
Just last one question from my side, but prospectively, do you expect any other state to start charging this royalty, given the fact that now Supreme Court has said that states can go ahead and charge royalty on mining?
So, see, Jharkhand has already done it. They've already announced. It's a matter of time that other guys also wake up. So Jharkhand has given a moderate, cess rate of like 100 rupees per ton on the iron ore. In all probability, I think other states will also follow the same.
Okay. Recently, the government has also initiated the process for charging anti-dumping duties on steel that get imported from Vietnam. Now, I believe the import quantity is very less. So, do you expect any changes or any meaningful development for the steel industry because of this?
So, see, these kind of anti-dumping duties on specific countries don't really work as much because there's a round tripping of the steel which happens. We already seen what happened in Russia. Meaning there was so much of ban and everything from US and Europe, but still oil was available throughout the world. So similarly, if you put anti-dumping against Vietnam, China, it will come from Japan, Korea, Taiwan. So it doesn't really matter much until unless there are some duties put on imports across, all the imports. This is unlikely to change the situation in India.
And lastly, we have seen a sharp fall when it comes to metal prices from their recent high, that down around 5 to 6 odd percent because of various geopolitical issues. Do you expect there's more downtake expected in this metal prices, or they have bottomed out right now?
So at the moment, in the last 1 week or so, there's been a decent recovery in aluminum and copper prices. They were down sharply in the last month or so. So probably I would think that they would remain range bound around these levels. I don't really see too many triggers which can push commodity prices much higher until unless China comes out with a very big stimulus. The small stimulus they are doing to support the economy is not really working. And also the geopolitical situation is such that countries are putting in trade barriers against imports from China, and that doesn't really augur well because these countries themselves can't really produce or grow that fast. So demand for commodities is likely to remain muted for the next year or so from what it looks right now. And so I would think at the best case scenario is a little bit of consolidation of commodity prices at the current levels.
Okay. Well, thank you, Rakesh, for joining us and giving us your insights when it comes to the cement and the middle sector. With that, let's slip into a short break and we'll address more. We'll address more.
If you like this video, then like, share, and subscribe to ET Now.